Hey! It's been a long while, hasn't it? Okay, so here's the thing. While I was working on the Teen Titans Go video, my laptop crashed, so that put me out of commission for like a solid 3 weeks because I was trying to get it fixed. Thankfully, I got it fixed a couple of days ago, so I will try to get back to work on my projects. I really hope I don't crash it this time. And I figured to keep this channel active, I would talk about something relatively new in everybody's minds. So, let's talk about the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Yay! Hopefully this won't be divisive to talk about. Okay, you know the drill. Since we're talking about a sequel, we have to talk about the prequel first. When it came to the first Super Mario Bros. Movie, critics really tore this movie a new one, and even the lion fucker hated this movie too. But what did I think about it? Well, if you didn't watch my video talking about the film, I actually really enjoyed the Super Mario Bros. Movie. I think this and the first Despicable Me movie are Illumination's best works. The visuals looked amazing, the Easter eggs were really fun to spot, the music was phenomenal to listen to, and it was nice to see these characters respectfully adapted into a feature-length film, with some characters getting some really good updates to their personalities.
Peach was turned into a Mary Sue, strong female character who's written so capable that it makes you wonder why Mario is even around.
Because you're very, very small.
You need to shut the fuck up!
Now, is it one of the best films ever made? Fuck no. Since this is an Illumination movie, it has problems, and some of them are not small. The story and character development is basically non-existent, the pacing is a little too quick for my taste, the voice acting was really distracting for the first couple of minutes, but luckily I did get used to it. The jokes were very hit and miss. I didn't like the fact that my boy Luigi got sidelined. Fuck you, film. It's a little too bloated, as they do try to cram in everything from the Mario franchise into one movie, and overall, this is definitely a kids movie through and through. It's something that the children will really get a kick out of, but as for the adults and teens who are looking for something with a little more substance, you might want to watch something else. But I still think it's a good movie, a good 6 or 5 out of 10, that doesn't really deserve the slander that most critics gave it. But history has repeated itself, as now we have the Super Mario Galaxy movie. And let me bitch about this for a second. This was a complete missed opportunity. They should have gone with the Super Mario Sunshine movie for the second installment. I mean, think about it. When it came to the 3D Mario games, they started with Super Mario 64 for the Nintendo 64, then Super Mario Sunshine for the GameCube, and then they followed it up with Super Mario Galaxy for the Wii. That's what I thought they were going to do, but then they blew their load too early with Super Mario Galaxy for the second film, which is something I can tell Nintendo and Illumination are going to do way too much when it comes to adapting Nintendo's other properties into movie form.
Stop it.
Anyway, when this movie came out, there seemed to be a near consensus that this movie is a step down compared to the previous movie. Now, why is that the case? Well, we're gonna find out right now. So sit back and relax, and I'll give you my review of the Super Mario Galaxy movie.
Super Mario Galaxy!
Galaxy takes place sometime after the first Mario flick, with Mario and Luigi living comfortably at the Mushroom Kingdom. Hell, they even managed to find Yoshi, randomly.
Don't question it, just clap like the mindless seals that you are.
But everything starts to go south when one of the baby Lumas asks Princess Peach for her help. As you see, Princess Rosalina has been kidnapped by Bowser Jr., so he can use her powers with this device he created to conquer the universe. So, with Princess Peach and Toad trying to find Bowser Jr.'s headquarters, Jr. goes over to the Mushroom Kingdom to save Bowser from Mario and Luigi. Wacky antics ensue, numerous cameos are shown, there's attempts at character development and character moments like Peach coming to the realization that, big spoiler alert by the way, Rosalina is her sister, Bowser having conflicting emotions on whether or not he should return to villainy or be loyal to the Mario Bros, eventually ending in a big battle with numerous references and numerous cameos, and then eventually it ends with Princess Peach saving Rosalina, Mario, Luigi, and Yoshi defeating Bowser and Jr., and everybody lives happily ever after. That's the story. Now let's go over some of the pros, the cons, talk about the stupid discourse, and then we'll wrap this all up.
Here we go! Here we go!
Alright, let's start with some of the good things first. Visually speaking, it's about on par with the first Super Mario Bros. Movie, but I say it's a slight improvement because of the different planets that the characters go to, which have a huge amount of attention to detail. And the reason why I say it's a slight improvement is because they already did this already in the first movie, with the characters going to different locations and such. I've warmed up to the voice cast. I think they do a pretty good job now. You can tell these guys are really finding their groove with these characters. Even some of the newcomers do a pretty great job, like Brie Larson for example. The music is about as fantastic as the first one. There aren't too many needlessly shoved in pop songs in here, with the exception of one.
Got this.
The action scenes are also pretty fun to watch as well, and there's more action scenes in this one compared to the first one now that I think about it. Whether it's Rosalina fighting Bowser Jr. for the first time, Peach and Toad fighting these enemies in that big ass block, Mario, Luigi, and Yoshi fighting Jr. when he tries to save Bowser, the final battle with Mario, Luigi, and Yoshi fighting against Bowser and Jr., and Mario and Peach working together to get through that kill course. What else? I guess the movie does expand the universe of Mario by introducing the galaxy element, especially with Rosalina being the ruler of the cosmos. I'm glad they didn't shove in Donkey Kong or any of Mario's family members into this one, as that would really crowd the cast, but yeah, that's about it. I kind of expected more to say about the pros. Oh well.
Oh no! Oh no!
Let's start with my biggest complaint. They sidelined Princess Rosalina in this flick, which sucks complete dick. Remember how they sidelined Luigi in the previous movie? Which I can understand for the most part, even though it's really annoying that they did that. Well, guess what? They did the same thing with Rosalina. Like, did they forget who this character is? She's one of the most powerful characters in the Mario universe. And in this very movie, we see her be using her abilities in a great way, yet she still ends up being a damsel in distress. It's like she's nothing more than a plot device to kickstart the story, and if you're one of those psychopaths who actually tries to apply what happens in the Super Mario Galaxy game to this movie, it's gonna piss you off, especially since Rosalina was actually a core part of the game now that I think about it. She had more of a presence throughout, and hell, you can even learn more of her backstory if you want, unlike in this movie where she shows up at the beginning, she shows up at the end, and that's it. Speaking of which, the second biggest complaint I have with this movie, it's that it's basically the Super Mario Bros. Movie 2, just weaker. I know this is a stupid argument, but again, if you're one of those psychopaths who tries to apply what happens in the Super Mario Galaxy game to this movie, it kind of feels like a big missed opportunity, because the thing is, in the Super Mario Galaxy game, it does try to tell an interesting story, and it does try to raise the stakes in an interesting way. Instead of taking the time to actually better the story in this one, considering, yes, the previous movie doesn't have a structured story, I feel like for this instance, they had a really good blueprint to take from the games, and further expand upon it. And the problem is, they don't really do that here. So when I say it's the Super Mario Bros. Movie 2 but weaker, I mean it's literally the same as last time, but it's noticeably lacking in a whole lot of areas. In the previous movie, there were at least attempts to give these characters some development, or at least they have moments where these characters learn or talk to each other, or just have a minute to stop the action and take a break. Like Luigi trying to be brave, Mario and Donkey Kong squashing their beef and developing their friendship, Peach teaching Mario the ropes, you know, little moments that they're not a lot, but there's something to work with, you know? There is absolutely nothing like that in this movie. It is significantly more hollower compared to the first, and that sucks because, as I said before, the blueprints were there. The blueprints are here to make it more interesting. They have an element where Princess Peach comes to discover that Rosalina is her sister, but there's not really much development to that at all. Also, I did not give a shit about the whole romance angle they tried to push onto Mario and Peach, because we Mario fans know that Nintendo came out of the woodwork to say that Mario and Peach are simply best friends, so any implication or any indication of them being lovers is pretty much thrown out the window, so I don't know why they're trying to hint it here. We all know they're not going to do anything with it, so it felt really pointless to do this. It was really pointless.
Friend zone, friend zone! Friend zone! Friend zone!
Why is he saying friend zone?
Anyway, I can see why some people are disappointed in this sequel, considering that the Galaxy game actually had the blueprints of a story to improve upon, but they just didn't utilize it at all here. And I'm also kind of disappointed myself because, here's the deal. When I made the argument of how Mario movies based on the games don't need to have a decent story in my review of the first one, you can only use that once in a movie. When you're making a sequel, I'm sorry, you need to put in a little more effort, and they did not do that here, and that is severely disappointing.
I expect nothing, and I'm still let down.
Okay, now that I've dealt with two of the biggest problems, let's move on to the other issues I had. The pacing in this one is significantly more quicker and more breakneck than the previous film. And what isn't helping is that there are no quieter moments to let the characters really talk to each other or catch a break. Unlike in the first movie, where there are moments where the characters could stop, talk to each other, and reflect, like Peach and Mario, Mario and Luigi talking to each other in his room, the brothers talking to their family. We also had Bowser talk to Luigi when he was trying to intimidate him, and Donkey Kong and Mario also had one scene where they were talking to each other. That, unfortunately, is not what happens in this sequel. There's nothing like that in this movie. It just feels like it's more excited to jump into the next action scene, jump into the next cameo, jump into the next action scene, jump into the next cameo, the next reference, the next action scene, the next cameo, the next reference, and it just gets a little too much for my taste.
Good grief.
And speaking of cameos, this movie has a big cameo problem. I've seen a lot of people point out and get upset at how Rob, Mr. Game & Watch, those creatures from Pikmin, and Fox McCloud show up in this movie, and yeah, they can feel a little forced, especially in the case of Fox McCloud, considering he's from a completely different franchise, and he gets more screen time than Rosalina herself. What? Well, hold on. He gets more screen time than Rosalina? What the fuck? And I think the reason why I feel a little more disconnected from this movie compared to the first one is because the first Mario movie, it stayed true to the spirit of the Mario franchise. When they try to implement all these other characters from different IPs from Nintendo's catalog into the Mario universe, it feels like they're trying to set up a Nintendo cinematic universe.
Avengers!
Assemble.
But even putting those guys aside, some of the references in this movie kind of feel a little shoehorned in and way too forced. Whether it's referencing the dinosaur and the dragon from Odyssey, Baby Mario and Luigi are in here for no reason, Wart is also in here for some fucking reason, and the piñatas from Sunshine. However you fucking pronounce them. Look. These guys right here, they're in the movie. You should have just done the Sunshine movie. The Sunshine movie should have been second. What the fuck? And I think that's all the negative things I have to say with this movie. Now let's talk about the discourse, because unfortunately, we're having the same argument all over again.
I know I'm gonna sound like kind of a hypocrite saying this, but can't you just sit down and enjoy the goddamn movie?
Remember how I told you that history is repeating itself all over again? Well, unfortunately, since some people are critical of this movie, we have the fanboys that jump out of nowhere saying, you can't criticize the Super Mario Galaxy movie because it's for kids and it's not for you. And considering that some of you are grown-ass adults, all I have to say is, who gives a shit what the critics say? Who gives a shit if Johnny Tuchelos doesn't like the movie? And who gives a shit what this absolute loon is gonna say when he makes his review talking about it? YouTubers and critics are not the end-all be-all of film discussion. You know that, right? Who gives a fuck if they don't like it at the end of the day? Who cares? If you enjoyed this movie, that's all that matters. Stop living in this little bubble of yours that everybody has to have the same opinion as you. It makes you look like a bunch of children. And as for the whole it's for kids argument, I'm not going to touch that one with a 39.5-foot pole because it's pretty self-explanatory. Just because something is geared towards children doesn't mean it can't be good. We've done this multiple times, and it's crazy how some of you keep saying that constantly. You did it with the Minecraft movie, along with other examples. Hell, I've experienced it myself with Teen Titans Go. People saying, hey, it's for kids, so it can get away with being shit. Jesus fucking cuckoosness. And that's really all I have to say. I don't really have much to say about this one because it's basic common sense. If the people don't like the movie and they criticize it harshly, who gives a fuck? If you got something out of the film, if you enjoyed the cameos, the references, the sparkling colors, that's all that matters. Who gives a fuck what the critics say? That's all I have to say about that. Honestly, I don't really have much to add. I don't have much to add here. Ugh.
Thank you so much for playing my game.
And that is my overall thoughts on this movie. I think it's weak overall, and it is a significant downgrade compared to the previous Mario movie. I feel like this sequel had a lot of potential to be better than the first, especially since Galaxy, the game, had a story that they could work with, and the fact of the matter is that this is a sequel, and sequels genuinely need to improve on their predecessor, and it just felt like it was more or less the same as last time, but it's wearing a Galaxy skin coat. But hey, if you guys enjoyed the movie, that's perfectly fine. If you hated the movie, that's perfectly fine as well. Stop getting into these stupid slap fights on the internet over a goddamn animated movie. And please, stop using those regurgitating talking points. Please, just stop relying on those. Stop relying on these talking points of you can't criticize the movie because it's for kids. Please stop doing that. God, at the end of the day, who gives a fuck, right? Who cares? And, yeah. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Sorry for disappearing off the face of the earth again. My laptop broke down, so as a result, I couldn't get much work done. But hopefully, and I just pray to God that I don't break it this time as I'm working on my projects. So, what did you guys think of the Super Mario Galaxy movie? Did you like it? Did you hate it? What did you think about the discourse that was going on? Tell me in the comment section below, and, yeah, I'll catch you guys later.